Here is a monster ebony and all natural white Ariel Carmeli custom Q. Now I have to ask, when is the last time that you had the opportunity, gentlemen, to dress yourself up in a tuxedo? Good news is, for the ladies and the gentlemen, if you pick up this beautiful, beautiful rare Q, you don't have to worry about dressing up in a tuxedo. This one's going to do all the dressing up for you. How elegant, how beautiful, and you know how it's going to play because it's a Carmeli. This Q right here is not brand new, but it has very few signs of play. It was purchased by a very good friend of Ariel Carmeli. It has very, very, very light play only. There's no dents or dings. The finish looks beautiful. You know, I like to say it looks like glass or a mirror. It's got that nice shine. You can see your reflection in it practically. But as I look the Q over thoroughly, there's really nothing to speak of other than the fact that it might have just a couple, minor marks, signs of play, and I can't really even find anything in particular here. I just don't want you to think that it's brand new. The shafts actually do look brand new, which indicates to me that the gentleman that previously had the Q, probably like myself, plays with a keel wood or perhaps a carbon or something, of that nature. But you might have, like a little teeny tiny mark in the finish, maybe here and there, but nothing serious. Just very, 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 very clean Q. And again, this is what you call the epitome of elegance all the way through. You have 6 floating all natural white points going into Gabon Ebony. The ebony is cored, of course, with purple heart. You guys already know how I feel about that. That is going to be a really, really, really good combination for the playability. Of course, this is the 3/810 modified. We like to call it a big pin. This is Gabon Ebony all the way through. You'd expect, with the market being where it's at right now on Ariel's Qs and all the natural material, by the way, natural white joint, natural white floating points, natural white razor blade style windows, natural white butt cap, and on and on and on. No shipping overseas, no exceptions. Don't ask. It ain't going to happen. But you would expect to pay $10,000 for something like this. You can see I am nowhere near that price. It is priced to move, and it's priced to move fast. No trades. It is what it is. If you buy the Q, you're going to be giving yourself an opportunity to get something that's just nothing short of remarkable. Look at how this Q looks as I roll it on the table. Now pay attention to the inlays that are in each white floating point. That is Paua shell, okay? It's also called Abalone. If you do your research, this stuff actually comes from New Zealand. The best stuff comes from the South Islands of New Zealand. Look how sharp those inlays are right there, okay? That's an inlay set into all natural white right there. And here's what really makes it stand out. As I spin it on the table, notice the black and white, hence the tuxedo with those inlays. I love how Ariel does the silver in the rings, okay? So each of these rings, if you're not familiar with Ariel Carmeli's work, one of the reasons why his Qs command, top dollar, well, first of all, they play phenomenal, okay? They're built with excellent craftsmanship, and let's face it, they are super, super sexy. We're a big fan of Ariel's work here. I love to play with his Qs. It's always a privilege when we get to sell them. But if you look at how in-depth his work really, truly is, okay? So take this ring, for instance, right here, okay? And you've got his 24-dot ring starting at the joint. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, right? I always count one of the shafts. So technically with the shaft connected, you've got 6-position ring work. If you don't count them with the shaft the way most people do, for all practical purposes, you have 5-position ring work, okay? But each of these rings has 24 individual Paua shell or abalone dots, okay? Hence the 24 dot. That is a lot of work within itself. There are only a handful of people, really a few, that can do it at that level. And then if you notice, it is trimmed in double silver trim on both sides, okay? So you've got the abalone set into natural white, and then you've got double silver trim on both sides. This handle, okay, as you can see here, you've got a two-piece handle that is all ringed up with that beautiful ring work. That within itself, to get yourself into a Carmeli with this type of material and then have the ebony, what we could call that the slick handle, that's kind of a rarity within itself. Now you've seen me sell some big cues like this in recent times. We are very fortunate because they just don't come up very often, okay? Before I get into the bottom of the cue, I'll tell you this. This particular cue is one out of only 3 that have ever been made like it, okay? There's only been 3 made with ebony and all natural white inlays, joint, butt cap, and on and on and on. So again, what you have here, you've got 6 of the floating design points. Notice how much precision is involved. Notice how everything lines up from the top of that point. Look how straight into the inlay, all the way down as I go into this. We call that a razor blade window. Some people call it a church window, but for all practical purposes, it's a floating box window. Razor blade is what Ariel calls that, razor blade windows. Okay, so, but again, the inlay, the logo, everything lines up perfectly straight with the top of the cue. That's what you call master level craftsmanship. Okay, now there are 6 of those razor blade windows, 6 points. And again, look at how sharp the inlays are, okay? You have to literally go to the South Islands of New Zealand to be able to source that type of material that's in the middle right there. You've got the A.KA logo, and then to give you a little bit better perspective on the 24 dots, look at that. Look how beautiful they are right there. It is prepped for a Carmeli extension. There's no extension with the cue. Butt weight on this cue is about 16.2. It is forward balanced. And by the way, don't let anything I told you earlier scare you off. When I say minor signs of play, I just mean like if you play with this cue for, a month, you might have a little mark here, a little mark there. I can't see anything real specific to speak of. Like there's no dents or dings anywhere. And I always want to point everything out to you guys, okay? We are, like we always say, full transparency, under promise and over deliver. Both shafts are 13 millimeter. One is 3.8 and one is 4.0. Now let me ask you this. How sexy would your favorite carbon fiber look with this beautiful tuxedo style Ariel Carmeli custom cue? It is definitely not going to last. I will be uploading it to our website, crossroadcues.com. If you were to try to get something like this made today, you're going to spend big money, and you're going to wait for probably somewhere around 3 years. He is really booked up right now. Even a basic cue would take 2 to 3 years. This would probably be well more than 3 years. It is in very good, clean condition. Everything rolls straight together and apart. Who wants to put this bad boy in a showcase? But once you get it in that showcase and you get it on the table and you hit a few balls, you're not going to want to leave this cue on display. This cue belongs in action. Ariel Carmeli, tuxedo style, loaded, monster, slick handle, 24 dot ring work all over the place, ready for immediate shipping at crossroadcues.com.